the intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
Welcome back, Star Trek fans, where today we're going to be grading the October arc. I know we still got Halloween and all these other things that need to happen, but we're going to grade October, and we actually just came through with our previous months and coming off a low. So the question is, for you, the player, does this raise it kind of higher up? I'm not saying it was great, but did this at least return to a level of, okay, it's fun, changes are decent, etc.? Does that make any sense? So what we're going to do in this video is kind of what we do before. I want you to comment down in the comment section below, but more importantly, participate in our survey. Smack right there on the wall. You can find this in the description of this video, in the comments of this video, on the Discord, on the Facebook, everywhere. That way we can pass along your feedback to the dev teams. Now, there's a lot to cover in this video, so we're going to start with the officers. 3 new officers being added in, but mostly continuing the theme of PvLP. Now, if you're curious where those officers can be located, you'll see we've got Billups and Ransom from last month. Scroll up just a little bit, you'll find Shax. Shax has gotten added here to be the Battleship Strike Team officer to go along with Ransom and Billups. You see your PA is weak. If an Explorer with morale increases your isolated defense by 40% for 1 round. Very similar numbers to what we've seen from the others. And that, again, is just kind of completing that extension to these strike teams that we've talked about before. Then if you scroll back up and you get over here, you're going to find Dr. Tiana and Alonzo Freeman. So Alonzo Freeman was the rare. Most of you probably end up with. I do think that Alonzo Freeman has value to you as a player in the game. It's not incredible. Below decks, getting that reputation boost is going to be really, really good for you as a player going into the 40s and the 50s and then eventually beyond. Anything that you can do to boost rep is literally worth clicking that upgrade button for. You see now, went to 20%. So yes, I like Alonzo Freeman. It makes no sense to me that he's a literal admiral in Star Trek history and he can't have a captain's ability. At least they didn't say that he's unfit to lead this time around. And then the cargo bay converter is okay. I mean, I guess I could see a couple of, applications here because he is 35%, which would be more than some of your other officers. So he adds a little bit there, but I think the main value for you as a player is going to be the below deck. So kind of grade that as you will. Dr. Tiana right here. Make a mess, random state for 3 rounds, and then the below deck ability increases your isolated defense. So another basic PvP style officer here for lower decks. Again, I don't necessarily think that's bad, but that's kind of where we are. Now let's move on to the next section here, and that's where it gets a little bit, I think that we're probably going to have varied opinions, but feature grading. So to start with the feature gradings here on the screen, we're going to take a look at Deep Space Armadas. Now you might go, hey, this is only for high levels, it doesn't affect me, but it does, right? If you've unlocked the USS Voyager, you can attend these, and if you launch these, the cool thing is they improve the launch chest. So they listen to feedback, they heard what players are complaining about, and the launch chest for these became significantly stronger. So that means that when we decide to run this, we're going to get a lot more points than we would if we were going in a low-level Armada, and we have a ship that can take us out there, as long as we have the big players that can carry us through these Armadas. I think these are a very good addition to the game. And they're also a requested edition. People have been asking for these Deep Space Armadas, these 5-star area Armadas for going on 2 years now. Like, you don't believe me? Ask your whale. How did that get on the screen? Ask your whale. They've been wanting them for a long time, but this has a true, I'm not talking about that Reaganomics stuff. I mean, a real trickle down where you get to launch. You're going to get big chests compared to 4-star, and you're going to allow them to get the rewards that they're looking for. So it's a win-win for both. And this wasn't the only thing that came through this month. The other side of this is going to be the territory capture update, right? As you can see on this server, there's been a lot of movement. There's been more combat, more war, and not necessarily in like a it's destroy the server burn war, just literally activity. Also launched a new battle pass. Now you'll see that I did not purchase the new battle pass, but it is still there, giving you officer shards, the new chronometric particle, which if there is a complaint to be had this month in terms of our grading, chronometric particle sourcing real slow, but that's part of what the battle pass here is for. So you got a free track here at the top, or you can spend $50. This will last 3 months, so less than $20 a month if you wanted to go through these rewards. And the event's been pretty easy to complete, relatively speaking. I wouldn't say that this has been like a game-changing, oh my gosh, territories are amazing, but I think it's been solid, and it is, brought activity back to that. So I would actually give that a positive grade. I wouldn't say it's incredible, but I'd say if I'm grading the features, I think the features as a whole are an A this month, just based on the features themselves. I'm ignoring, like, I'm not including like the new primes that came in as part of the feature, because those mid primes that came in out of nowhere on that 59.1 patch update, like the prime warp discovery. So we took a quality of life improvement and jammed it behind that. We took prime hit, crit hit reduction, and then the station delay. Those aren't part of the features that rolled out. Those are extras that Scopely kind of threw in, which we can grade that more in the lines of like Scopely's communication and how they actually did their event counters and stuff. That doesn't really apply to features to me, but if you want to include it in that, I understand your reasoning. Just make sure you put it in the comments section of whichever. That way we can trace that here at our little team here. Shout out to Archduke, who helps me a lot as well when it comes down to breaking down these grades. Next up, after features, we gotta go through the event calendar. This is, to me, the weakest point of this month, and I guess that's a good thing to have the event calendar be the weakest point. I think the event calendar kind of struggled. Now, the event buckets were pretty nice to have those separated as they did. Here are all your new missions. We had a lot of heroic SMSs, a lot of events that were a little bit difficult to complete, and I would say that there were some good payouts, and obviously the Dabo style event store is a huge win for me. I love the Dabo style event stores, but just not as lot of excitement. This is me pulling up the Mega Cube because we had this in a while, so I got distracted. It happens. But I would say it's a solid C. It wasn't terrible, as in it wasn't nothing, but remember, context is important when we do our grading. There have been months that were nothing but like Armada SLBs and nothing but heroic SMSs. This month wasn't down there. I definitely think that this month could improve in a lot of ways and how we work into next month. Now, again, I said this in the stream yesterday, thanks to the voices that y'all provide. Appreciate it. We actually have already been talking with the Arc Runner for next month to try to kind of get ahead of some of these potential issues. So there we have with our gradings when it comes to going through officers, features, event calendar, and then it gets to where, honestly, I'm giving a lot of love in communications this month. Now, I don't think that communication is a perfect grade. I'll be very clear. No news is kind of like accurate here. But the reason that communication and the community team gets a good grade for me is it has to include the legacy reel, which has been an overwhelmingly positive response for most people. I actually did an entire video about my legacy reel and how you can check your legacy reel. And with the 5th year anniversary coming up in November, that was a very big deal. I mean, in my opinion, it was a very positive deal. A lot of players seem to really enjoy that. So including that in the grading seemed only logical. And because of that, I actually give a positive grading to, I know, shocker, the community team. I know. It's been a struggle because they've been trending downward for quite a while. So this is a good makeup for them. And then finally, last but certainly not least, stability, which I actually need as many of you to comment on the stability of the game as possible. Lag, you know, Zoom issues, are they crashing? Server 28, myself and Ultimate DJ passed up so many tickets because your Armadas weren't spawning, and now they are. You know, when grading stability, you know, it's very important for y'all to speak out and submit tickets. That way they have your device and can know exactly what's going on. But just as a whole, I think the stability in this month is better than previous months. And I keep saying that, and I'll even share y'all some data. Previous months, stability's been terrible. I mean, patch 56, like this is 59. So if you go 3 months ago, patch 56, y'all graded stability as an F. That's where there were crashes everywhere. We were out of the game for many, many hours at a time. It was just really, really bad. I don't think the stability was that this month, right? So this was an improvement in most areas, which is what the team needed over at Scopely. The only drawback is it's not perfect still. Like, we're still shooting for that A grade. But overall, I give this month a C. I think they did improvements. I think it was better, and there are really cool things they added in, even if there are some really things they added that I don't like. For example, that prime station delay. And they did add some things in. I'm going to give one last credit to Scopely. One positive credit. This, okay, the Ferengi whip has disappeared. I'll put it on the screen. I expect it to be there. The Ferengi whip, I think, is a positive for spenders. Why? Because instead of it being a normal $100 price point like everything else in the game is, it was a very quality item for $50. Now, I do think that it needs a free-to-play path because of how good it is. Whether that be 6 to 12 months, I've said it very loudly, and I'll continue to say it. It needs a free-to-play path to be unlocked by everybody. But I do think it was a good addition to the game. So overall, I give this month a C. I do think it improved, and I'm curious to see what you think in the comment section down below. As always, I leave my grades to the very end so that y'all can make decisions for yourself. Live long and plunder. Stay safe with the Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next Star Trek League of Man video and streams, which next stream's tonight, actually. Yeah.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.